You don't need to be nice. You need to be clear. Hi entrepreneurs, I'm Vicky Brown, and you're in the right place if you want to engage your team, boost your business, and grow your leadership muscle. Yes, be clear. Now, that's not a license to be a jerk. It's not a call to bark orders or be cold, but it is a reality check, especially for first-time leaders who are running small teams and trying to do everything right. Now, here's the thing I've seen over and over again in my own business and with the founders I support. The instinct to be liked runs deep. We want our employees to feel comfortable. We want the culture to be supportive. And if you're anything like me, you probably spent a lot of time in the early days cleaning up everyone's messes, over-explaining your decisions, or trying to soften every bit of feedback so it wouldn't land too hard. And that's what I call the nice trap. And once you're in it, it's pretty difficult to get out. Because the more you try to protect people's feelings, the more you end up distorting the truth. You start bending the message, not to deceive anyone, but to keep things smooth. You want to be thoughtful. You want to be fair. But then suddenly, someone drops the ball, and they're shocked when you bring it up. Or the team doesn't deliver what you expected because you never really said what you expected in the first place. And now you're frustrated. They're confused, and everyone's quietly wondering what just happened. Niceness isn't the problem, but vagueness, that's where the trouble starts. Now, it's not that being kind is wrong. I'll always advocate for respect, compassion, emotional intelligence, all of it. But being nice, the way most of us interpret it, often means we start avoiding the hard stuff. We don't say what we mean, we use soft words, or we talk around things, or we delay conversations until they become a whole situation. And then, when things go sideways, we feel like we did everything we could. We were being reasonable. We gave grace. We didn't micromanage. But here's the truth. We weren't clear. And that lack of clarity didn't just impact us, it impacted the whole team. People do better when they know where the edges are. They need to know what success looks like. They need to know what's okay and what isn't. They need to know how to course correct without guessing. If someone's missing the mark and your response is to pick up the slack and say nothing, you're not helping. You're quietly telling them, this is fine, when actually it's not. If someone's attitude is draining the team and your response is to give them space and hope they work it out, you're not setting a boundary. You're setting a pattern. If someone's doing great work and you never say it because you assume they already know, that's not modesty. That's misleadership. And yes, this goes both ways. Feedback isn't just about what's wrong. It's also about what's working. Clarity doesn't just protect you, it protects everyone. It sets people up to win. Clear expectations reduce stress. Clear feedback builds trust. Clear boundaries give people room to grow without stepping all over each other. It's not about being authoritarian. It's about being honest. So let's talk about what clarity actually sounds like. Because sometimes when we hear be clear, we think we have to be cold or robotic, but you don't. You can say, this didn't meet the standard we agreed on. You don't have to say, I guess it's fine, while secretly fixing it yourself at midnight. Or you can say, here's the decision. I know you might have had a different idea, and here's why I chose this path. You don't have to leave people in the dark trying to read between the lines. You can say, this role is evolving, and I need you to step into a more client-facing position. That means X, Y, and Z are priorities now. You don't have to wait until they mess it up and then hit them with a performance review. Now, I know these moments are uncomfortable. I know there's a voice in your head saying, they're going to think I'm being mean, or what if they quit, or what if I'm being too hard? But here's what I've learned. The longer you delay being clear, the messier it gets. The first time you say something vague because you want to protect someone's feelings, it feels small. But the 5th time, the 10th time, now you've trained them to expect confusion. And when you finally snap and say the truth out loud, it's going to feel like it came out of nowhere, for them and for you. You see, trying to be nice to avoid the short-term discomfort, well, that almost always leads to long-term damage. You keep people in jobs that don't fit because you're scared to hurt their feelings. You say yes to projects you don't have time for because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You absorb work that isn't yours because asking for follow-through feels mean. But guess what? You're paying for that niceness with your own energy, your team's performance, and your business's potential, and that's just too high a price. Now, let's be really clear. Clarity is not cruelty. You can be direct without being dismissive. You can be firm and kind at the same time. You don't need to yell. You don't need to shame people. You just need to tell the truth. Clarity is a form of respect. When I give someone clear direction or clear feedback or clear boundaries, what I'm saying is, I trust that you can handle this. I believe you deserve the full story. I'm not going to leave you in the dark. You see, that's how we grow people. That's how we build businesses that don't rely on guesswork. And here's the shift that I want you to make if you haven't already made it. You are no longer a coworker. You're not their peer. You're their leader. And leadership doesn't require you to be liked. It requires you to be clear. And hey, you can still be warm. You can still laugh with your team, celebrate birthdays, say thank you, show compassion. But when it comes time to lead, when something isn't working, when a decision needs to be made, when someone needs to be coached, you have to be able to say the real thing, because people don't trust vague. They trust directness. They trust fairness. They trust consistency. And most of all, they trust leaders who don't flinch when it's time to speak the truth. So no, you don't need to be nicer. You need to be clearer. You need to stop editing yourself down to be more comfortable for other people and start leading in a way that gives your team something solid to stand on. Clear is kind, and you're not doing anyone, including yourself, any favors by hiding behind nice. Remember, your inspired leadership is the secret sauce to having a high-performance team and a wildly successful business you'll love. I'll see you next time on Leader's Journey.